Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Another month, another off topic with Greg and I. Welcome. Greg, thanks for joining. As always, it's
I
great. It's going to be great to chat with you. Looking forward to it. It's been a while
I
since we've had a one-on-one discussion.
I know this is getting a little bit crazy. I'm about to call your employer and have a serious conversation with them, but I'll take what I can get, and I'm excited to hang out.
Cool. Me too. So today, it's unlikely we actually go off topic today because of what the topic is. We have a very small
Wow,
topic today, but I'm sure we could figure something out.
I'm sure we will.
So today, Greg and I are going to talk about cards that we want to have in our collection someday. I know Mike, baseball collector, did a video asking people to do it, so we figured it'd be a fun discussion to have because we like talking about cards we want to buy, and this is that. Um, the actual ask was cards you want to buy before you die. That's morbid to me, so I'm going to say cards I want to get in my collection someday.
Yeah, that's good. I'm in.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel like there's like some turmoil right now in the community. I feel like there's more content about content than there's been in a long time. And
Yeah.
I'm making videos, or people, not me necessarily, but I'm sure I'm involved some of it. People are making videos about what other people are talking about, what they should be talking about, and what they aren't talking about. And so we're just going to talk about cards we like, which I think
Yes.
will be nice.
Right. And like we talked about on our other off topic.
Hmm.
In my opinion, I think a lot of people are just, I mean, they might disagree, but it's like when people disagree with your opinion and then they angrily make a video about why your opinion's wrong, that's a little whiny to me, I guess. Like opinion wise, opinion's an opinion. If you don't like somebody's opinion, my take is don't watch the video. If you don't like what somebody's saying, turn the video off. Don't wait till it's done and then make a video about why it hurt your feelings. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, that's just kind of weird. So today we're going to show the 10 cards we each want to have in our collection someday. And if you guys are seeing the cards we're showing and you don't like them or you're offended by them in any way, go ahead and drop. It won't hurt our feelings. You could even comment that you dropped part of the way through because your feelings were hurt or you're offended in some way by our choices. But again,
Yeah.
these are our opinions for the cards we want for our collections.
I got to tell you, I had a harder time with this than I thought I was going to.
I did too. I made a few changes. I had some cards in there, and I'm like, a couple of these are like so big that like that might be silly. So I pulled a couple out and replaced them with ones that are probably just as hard. They're probably just as expensive. They're just harder to find. I don't know. I suck at breaking things down to 10. Like if Mike said do your top 50, that would have been a lot easier for me.
Let me just ask you before we get too far into this and trying to stay off topic as much as we can. When is this video? When are you planning on this video posting?
I was going to ask you when you're going to post our other one, and
Our
I'm going
other
to
one
post
is
it
going to post on Friday morning, so
tomorrow morning. So
September
this one will
19th.
post. So this will post on Saturday.
Okay. Sounds good. So the good news is if you're listening to this, remember Monday is going to be Midlife Live number 9. And by now you will be aware and you will know that the panel will include Darren. So we are going to see each other again here sooner rather than later. So this is actually going to be a good stretch for us. So,
Yeah, it's
all
going to
right.
be awesome. And just as a side bonus, on Monday morning, I'm dropping a new pickup video of a pretty sweet pickup, in my opinion.
Well, I think I might know what the pickup is potentially. Do I know what it is, don't I?
I sent you a picture of it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I sent you a picture of a few.
Oh,
This is a
okay.
good one. This one is a slightly newer card compared to the ones I've been showing recently. It's
Okay.
still very vintage, but it's newer than the stuff it's post-war.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's get into it. The top 10 cards we want before, and I wrote before we die, but we can just pretend that it says before we cease. I don't know.
Right. That we want to have in our collection someday.
There you go.
Right? Because technically, if we want our collection someday, that by definition means we'll have it before we die.
I'm
So
gonna, I'm
let's
gonna change it right now. I
okay.
can't change it
You
right
work, yeah,
now.
you do that,
Yeah, I
and
can.
I'll sit here and smile.
Before we finish collecting. How's that?
I like that. There you go.
All
Very
right.
unmorbid.
And I'm almost there now. I'm almost back to where we were. And action.
Perfect. Sweet. Guys, you got to admit, editing real time on the fly, this is a high tech
Seamless.
show. You guys need to be impressed by our technical wherewithal. At least Greg's. You need to be impressed by me watching Greg,
Yeah, I'm
in
impressed.
awe of his ability to do this real time. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the slides that Greg put together. So thank you, Greg, for doing that.
Yeah, of course.
All right, here they go. Boom.
Look at that. All right. So the top 10 cards we want before we finish collecting.
Yep.
There it is. Couple of fun pictures of us, right?
Yep, I like those.
Okay, so we'll start with number 10. I hope I got them in the right order on your end. I think I did.
If not,
So,
then they'll just be backwards, and you
okay.
guys will see my number one choice last or first, and that's fine.
Okay, so here we go.
And I just
So
want to make
you,
a point. I just want to make
yeah,
a quick point of something on countdowns. I'm not saying that there's a right or wrong way to do that, because anytime you say there's a right or wrong way to do anything on any YouTube video, everybody gets upset. But
no.
if you want people to maybe stick around for the whole video, if you do a countdown, you probably want to start with your like the quote unquote like worst one first and go to the best. I've seen videos where people start with, they do a countdown of their number one choice first. But if I see your number one choice and I'm like, cool, all right, I see basically I see the finish before the start, so I'm done. So that's why Greg and I do it this way, so you can see the lowest on our list to the highest on our list, so it gets more exciting as we go along.
Yeah. A couple things I want to throw out there. This, if you're listening, we'll do our best to describe the cards, but a lot of
Yes,
the cards are recognizable cards, right? A lot of them.
for the
I
most part,
also,
I had a couple that might not be as recognizable, but
yeah, that's true. And then the other thing I would say is it was fun for me because a lot of the cards on my list you already have. So I was like, oh, I'm basically creating a list of things Darren has that I don't. So that was kind of fun.
and that's cool because then next time you come
Oh,
and
I
visit
just
me,
I
you
just
could.
remembered a card I didn't put on my list, and now I'm mad at myself. I'm
But,
just it's hot. Oh, I just thought of two. I just
okay, so let's do
maybe at
this.
the end. At the end, we talk about
We'll talk about some runner ups. Yeah, I could talk about
yeah.
a couple that I pulled off the list.
Gosh,
All right,
I've been thinking about this for 36 hours, and I just thought of two. So let's go ahead
like
and
we said, this is not easy.
yeah. All right. So you talk about your number 10, and then I'll talk about my number 10.
Sounds good. So my number 10 is the Wilson Franks Ted Williams. I like this card for a bunch of reasons. One, it's, I like it because it's rare. I like it because it's a Ted Williams card. I think it's a really cool image. I like that it's white with, it's white on white. So like it doesn't have to be perfectly centered and it'll still look really good. And to be honest with you, it's got a pack of hot dogs on the front. So that's just pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the better looking cards of all time. And the fact that it's hard to obtain adds to the cool factor on it.
Yes.
I mean, it's a great choice. I mean, it's Ted Williams. It's middle of the 1950s. It's got the color scheme going. It's got everything going for it to make it a highly desirable card. So I completely approve of it. Now, my choice is the 51 Bowman Willie Mays.
Yeah.
I remember there was a card shop in the town over from where I grew up that was like our home card shop. There were a couple in the town I lived in, but then there was one main one in the town one over, and that's where we went the most. When we went to the card shop, we went to this other shop, and one of the two owners was a huge Willie Mays fan. Huge Willie Mays fan. Obviously, Northern California. He's a big Giants fan. His name is Mike. And in fact, I saw Mike maybe 6 months ago at a card show. And he had a 51 Bowman Willie Mays. And I remember seeing it. I remember him taking it out from the back and bringing it out to show my dad and myself. And I was just like, wow, that's a Willie Mays rookie card. and it was really cool. And I know this card gets a lot of heat because of that tarp thing in the background of it. But if you've ever seen the original photo that the card comes from, that's like a screen. It's like a backstop screen. And so it would have been virtually impossible for the artist to have had this backstop screen. So they had to do something solid so it didn't take away from the image of Willie. So I understand why they did it uh, in place of the screen, but it does catch heat for that. But I don't know. I think it draws your eyes at him because the background is so unexciting. So sometimes it's sort of like that Ted Williams. The background is so unexciting. It's just white that all
Right.
the focus is on Ted. It's got a similar kind of focus on the player there, but nonetheless, it's Willie Mays. It's his rookie card. How could you not want one?
So something cool. I learned something new. I always assumed that he was standing at the base of a sequoia tree. I didn't know that that was a screen. So
Oh
cool.
wow. I wonder
You
if I
know,
can.
San
I wonder if I
Francisco,
can
redwood
find the
forest,
picture.
just north, right? So I don't know. I'm dumb, but I'm
Sequoia
glad I learned that
trees
that's a
are
screen.
are that big. Like I've been
Yeah,
to the Sequoia National Forest, and you'd need like 40 people holding hands to go all the way around the base of one.
yeah. There's a redwood that they tunneled out. You could drive your car
Yeah.
through the trunk of it,
But
and it's still alive.
the sequoias are even bigger than that. The
Yeah,
biggest living organism on planet Earth is a giant sequoia called the General Sherman, and it's been struck by lightning like 10 times. And I think the only thing that's close to a living organism that's as big is the Great Barrier Reef
yeah.
because that coral's technically alive. But
Yeah, we've
I
got
don't
a
even know. See, look how easy it
we
was
have
for
an
us to go
aspen
off.
grove in near
Look,
Aspen. That's supposed to be pretty big too because
look
they
how
share a
quickly
root
we went
system.
off topic, dude.
Oh yeah, see, we got off topic. See, you figured out a way to do it. All right, so let's go
Go to the
to
next
number
one.
9.
It's interesting we both picked basketball cards here. I'll go
Yeah,
first this time. I mean, when you think vintage basketball, I think that most people think of Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. My dad was a big Wilt Chamberlain guy, so he always talked about Wilt Chamberlain. And then, just legendary stuff about Wilt Chamberlain. You just hear Wilt Chamberlain and the guy. I mean, how many rules were changed because of Wilt Chamberlain? Like offensive goaltending and all this stuff because of Wilt Chamberlain. The guy was just a force. And it's interesting because the picture is black and white, but there's color all over the card,
mhm.
which again I think draws your eye to the image. And I think it's a beautiful card, even though some people may not. But it's the most iconic basketball set. I know some people would say 86 Fleer, but it's at least the most iconic vintage basketball set. And that is the card in the set, although there are some other big cards. So got to have a Wilt Chamberlain rookie in the collection someday. I can't imagine saying, you know what, I'm good, and not having a Wilt Chamberlain.
And that makes sense. And one of the things about that card that I think is cool to me, it kind of reminds me of the 49 Bowman Jackie Robinson, where it's red with a little bit of blue with the
Hmm.
black and white, that where his face is black and white.
Hmm. I could
So
see that.
yeah, so that's that. I don't know. For some reason, I think of that when I see either one of those cards. So mine is the 49 Bowman George Mikan. I love that Will Chamberlain, and I actually am hoping to pick one of those up fairly soon. So I didn't want to put it on the list because this is stuff that I'll get someday. But I did want to put a a really like a iconic vintage basketball card on the list, and the George Mikan is probably the one I would go with. I had never. I mean, I've seen pictures of them all the time. I'd never actually seen like one in real life, and at the national, I did. I held one and checked it out, and I thought it was just a really cool card. I dig the image, and it just I don't know. It just to me the image on that one is great. It's tough to find in good condition, and it's quite vintage from a basketball card perspective. So I thought it'd be a good number 9.
Yeah. And shout out to our buddy Ray from Philly. He right now is doing the inaugural
Oh yeah.
Basketball Card Hall of Fame, and ballots are open at the moment. I do have scheduled to have Ray on. Can't remember the exact date, but in early October to talk about that. They did a For Collectors episode the other night, which was fun, where they kind of picked dream teams from the set or from the cards and stuff. So, shout out to Ray from Philly. Looking forward to visiting with him soon.
Yeah, and I'm almost 100% positive both of those cards are on the ballot.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both on there. All right, next. Why don't you go first this time?
Okay. The T204 Walter Johnson. So this is from 1909. So it's kind of his like co-rookie card with his T206. Um, I love this set. I love the intricacy of the gold. It's cool to me how the card, if you look at those cards on the back, all of that gold design on it is actually like pressed into the card. Because when you flip it on the back, you can see like the indentation of it. It's a great looking card. It's another one that's just really rare, and they're really, really tough to find in good condition because of the gold border. Like this one, I literally found, I think this was graded. The example that I screenshot here, this was graded a while ago, but this was a PSA 8. And if you look at it by kind of like by where like my mouth is on my little picture there over to the side, you'll see a chip on the gold, and it's still got an 8. That's how condition sensitive these cards are. But I think it's a cool image of him. And it's kind of like what Greg was saying about the Will Chamberlain, how like the card has some color, but the image is black and white. And I think that's pretty cool too. So it looks almost like a framed portrait. So rookie card of the greatest pitcher of all time. So I thought that would be pretty sweet to have someday as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know that some people are big fans of the set and other people don't like the set at all. I'm a fan of the set, and it's a pretty rare set. And if you were to ask me if I had to pick the top 10 cards of all time, I think this might be on there. The main reason I didn't pick it is I can't imagine a scenario in which I would be able to get some of the top 5 cards that I'm going to show and still eventually have money for this card. So again, never say never, but this is not a cheap card. This is a very, very expensive card. So it would be difficult in a realistic situation. And then mine, another card that Darren has so far 2 of my first 3 choices, but the 51 Bowman Mickey Mantle. Again, it's Mickey Mantle's rookie card. It's Mickey Mantle. Again, this is a card I remember as a little kid seeing this card out and about. And I mean, how it's Mickey Mantle's rookie card. You know, I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't really like that card. Or, you know, they say, oh, the 52 Tops is way better. I understand what they're saying, but the placement of the bat and I'm not going to get into like photographic, cropping techniques and stuff, but there's a lot of lines in there that I think make it a very attractive card. And so for me, I'm a huge fan of the looks of this card, even though I know others might not be.
I agree with you 100%. Like if I had to pick this one or purely to have the card, obviously if I was getting the card and I was going to flip it, I'd go with the 52 Tops. But if I was going to get the card to keep, I'd rather have this one than the 52 Tops.
All right, let's look at number 7. I'll go first this time. Okay. So I went Ted Williams, so another card Darren has. So the Ted Williams 39 play ball. There's so many things about this card that are great. I mean, look how dirty his pants are. It shows how long and thin he was. He's twisting like he would when he'd swing. You can see the number 9 on his back. You know, for since I turned 21 and would go over, I'd go over to the roulette table and play a couple of spins. One of my go-to numbers forever I guess for 25 years has been number 9 because of Ted Williams. I always put, a chip down on number 9 for Ted Williams. So it's cool that that sneaks in there. The old stirrups. I know some people don't like black and white. I like black and white cards. I love the 39 play ball set. The DiMaggio in that set is fantastic. I love the 48 black and whites, the Yogi Berra, and some of the others. So I understand why some people would say, "Oh, I like the 41 because it's got the color or whatever." But for me, this card is an absolute dream card. Again, sort of like the mantle. Sure, there might be a couple of cards that are more beautiful of Ted Williams, but this is Ted Williams's first rookie. This is rookie card.
Yeah,
I mean, it's his rookie card.
yeah, I'm with
So
you. I love that card.
yeah. How about yours? I'm not super familiar with this card.
So my next card's the 1911 General Baking Ty Cobb. It's a pretty rare card. It had a couple different backs. There's a Bruner's bread back, General Baking. There's a couple others. But I think it's a cool image of him. Um, he looks kind of like his face looks like a little kid, and it's got the bat looks like it's kind of like a miniature bat. But every time I see this card, when I see it at shows, every time I see this card or like one of the variants of this one with the same image, I'm like, God, I really just want to have that card someday. And I've been on a Cobb kick for the last year and a half, so this one would be a really cool one to add to the collection someday.
I'm pretty sure I've never seen this card in person. Um, I know the image, obviously, but I don't know this. I don't think I've seen this card in person, and it's not a card that is super recognizable to me, for whatever reason. So
Yeah, so for those listening, it's this card that it's got like an orangey brown background, and it's like a painting of him holding a bat, kind of smiling a little bit.
it's
It's
kind of
really
elfy looking.
I have to I have to say that he's got really rosy cheeks in it, and then I just think that if you look at his sleeve and like how it connects to like the arm of the shirt, just like the detail and the like the shading and shadowing is just I think really beautiful on that one.
Yeah, it's a pretty card for sure. All right, number 6. Look at that. Our first repeat.
There you
So
go.
I went with the Wilson Franks Ted Williams, a little higher on my list, probably because for me it's a little bit more out of reach than like my number 8, 9, 10 card. This one, although the Mantle rookie's pretty expensive, this card in decent condition gets up there really fast. That Ted
Yeah.
Williams. Um, and I mean, we already talked about it. It's just beautiful. And I'm a big Ted Williams guy. And I know some people, say things about his personality and how he was a little bit curt and stuff. It doesn't bother me at all. You know,
Yeah.
uh, Willie Mays at times would be grumpy. I saw Willie Mays in person many times growing up in Northern California at shows and things, and he, he's a little grumpy, but that's fine. Like, they don't owe me anything. It's,
Yeah.
so it doesn't bug me. I did meet Ted Williams as a kid, and he was very pleasant to me and shook my hand. I was in 6th grade, and was a very memorable experience. So,
Nice.
yeah. All right, your choice. Go ahead.
It's the 1935 National Chickle Bronco Nagurski, who I never met him in person. Um, but I think it's a really cool image of the card. Like the card, sorry, I think the card is like the image is a really cool image on the card. It's just I really like the old school football cards where it shows like the real old uniforms, and I think that being this card, obviously it's one of like the most iconic vintage football cards of all time. I think the colors on that card are just really cool, like the light blue and the yellow and red, and it shows Nagurski like looks like he's like ready to go, he's about to kick somebody's butt, and I just think it's a beautiful card, and I just dig the rarity of it and the iconic nature of it. So I wanted to add this one to the list.
And I'm just excited that you've already had a couple of cards that weren't just baseball cards, because for a long time you were mostly
Hmm.
I mean, you had a Jordan rookie and stuff, but I love that you're starting to expand your horizons. It makes me happy. This
Thank
card
you.
was on my list at one point, the Nagurski. It went on and then off a couple of times. It was close. Another really expensive card. I mean, even in a one, you're looking at, well, I mean, in a one, what would it be? 15,000, Darren?
Yeah, I would say depending upon like how good. Remember how we always talk about how ones have a huge range. It
Sure.
could be like a nice looking one or a run over one. I would say a range probably 10 to 15,000, depending upon the quality of the one.
And our buddy Don, he brought his to the trade night at that Four Collectors did at Strongsville, and I think he had like a 3 or a 3.5 or a 4 or something. That's a
Nice.
big card.
That's a huge card.
All right, next number 5. Go ahead.
This one is the 1907 Wolverine News Ty Cobb. There's two versions. I like the portrait one more. This one here. This is I mean, for all intents and purposes, this is Ty Cobb's rookie card. Um, I think it's just a great image. It's obviously it's black and white, but it's a great image of him, like a really young Cobb. Like usually you don't see images of him where he's that young. I mean, obviously that Bruno's bred, but that's more of like they drew him to look really young. Where this is an actual photograph of him when he's really young, and you could tell he's very serious, very focused. That look in his face, and I just think it's a great card. Plus the fact that like I said, I'm on the Ty Cobb run, and this is his rookie card, so I thought that this would be a really great one to add.
So when you say you're on a Ty Cobb run, like I know you've picked up a lot of stuff, but what inspired that? Like why this year over the last 9 months probably have you been on a Ty Cobb run? Like
Um,
what made that happen?
I read Learson's book about him, and I always, growing up, I always thought like, oh, he was just kind of a jerk. And I read Learson's book, and it gave me a totally different outlook and like a different respect for him. And obviously, like his playing ability is, you know, top three, four, five of all time. An incredible player. And now that I've kind of learned more about the fact that he's really not as bad as they try to make him out to be, and I was it's almost like I feel bad for thinking badly of the guy for most of my life, and now I wanted to just start picking up his stuff, and as I started picking it up, he's got a lot of, I don't know, unique. I don't want to say oddball. So he has a lot of unique cards, right? He has cards in like the T206 set, and he's got like, M1015 card, right? And so, the Sporting News. So he does have cards, in more less unique sets, but he also has a ton of very unique cards, and I think that that's kind of fun to try to just go find those.
Yeah, the treasure hunt that you can go on with some of the lesser known cards makes it where the hunt is never over, regardless of whatever it is you're into.
Hmm.
You can, whatever player or whatever team, it can become an endless pursuit, which is good and bad. But for a person who's been doing it for a while, as you've been finding out with, a lot of your Joe DiMaggio stuff that you've been on, it's like you got all of his, widely released stuff, but it's still fun when you find some, not as widely released stuff. So it's definitely cool.
It is, right, because the widely released stuff's very iconic, but then the lesser known stuff's basically lesser known, especially the older bunch of stuff, because it's just so rare, right? So it's
Yeah.
like you're either getting something very iconic or something very rare.
Yeah. So my choice at number 5 was Babe Ruth. I mean, it's the Gaudy Babe Ruth number 144, I think, right? And
144, yep.
it's the full body pose. I almost put a picture of all four of the Gaudy Ruths. I don't have like a strong preference of it has to be this one or it can't be that one. I think they all have pros and cons. It The thought of owning a Babe Ruth card just seems like so far beyond my wildest childhood dreams. Like it just seems impossible. I mean, literally, it's like out of the movie Sandlot, only it's an autograph instead of a card. Like that's that's what every little kid would think about is like a Babe Ruth card. So Um, I would just love to have any of them. If I had to pick one, it would be this one, just because it's got the pinstripes and I don't know, it shows his whole makeup. It's Babe Ruth, but I don't have a strong preference. I would love to have a Ruth card. I obviously am a Yankee fan and I collect Yankee captains, and he was a Yankee captain for a year. And so there are two Yankee captains ever that I don't have a card of, and one of them's Lou Gehrig and one of them's Babe Ruth. So that would check a lot of boxes for me. So someday I will have a Ruth card. I'm not sure which one, but I think it'll be one of the four Gaudy ones, and I think this is probably my first choice by a little bit.
Yeah, I love this one. I mean, I think this is the most iconic of the four images. Um, and then yeah, I mean, I like the green background one just because he looks funny in it. But
I know you always say that. I like the red background too, though.
I like a red one, like yellow one. I mean, they're all cool. Wow, these are both awesome.
I could go first on this one.
Hmm.
So, uh, the 52 tops Jackie Robinson. In my opinion, this this might be, I don't know, this might be the best card of all time. It it's got the color, it's got the set, it's got the player, it's got the pose, it's got the bee, the old Brooklyn bee on the blue hat. It has the bat. It has everything. It's brutally tough to find it centered. It's brutally tough to find it without snowing, which just adds to the lure of it. But I mean, when you go down the list of like which player, which set, which era, which color, I mean, it literally checks every single box. Um, so I just it would be incredible. But the price of this card has been surging for like the last 3 years, to the point now where it's a little bit of a reach for me to think that it's realistic. But I just think it's pretty darn close to the perfect card.
I agree with you 100%. And this was a goal card of mine for a long time. I think it. I agree with you. It's probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, looking baseball card ever made.
Yeah, it's really a special card. Why don't you tell us about yours?
Satchel Paige, 1948-49 Leaf. It's a short print. It's basically his rookie card. I mean, he's got the 49 Bowman as well. But this one is much rarer than that. I love the 48 Leaf set. I think some people say they don't like it. They think they're kind of ugly images. I actually like that. I think that it's cool, right? He's got his eyes closed. He's got his big smile on his face. Got his eyes closed, and again, I love the colors in it, right? The blue, the red, the yellow, it's the primary colors, and it's I don't know, I just love the card, and again, one of the things that I think drove most of my list was kind of rarity, and this is I think the rarest card in that set.
Now, if we start talking about, once we're getting up into these top three, four, five cards, the price is getting pretty high. The rarity is getting tougher, at least, in some of them. Let me ask you, like, what are the qualifications for the eventual 49 leaf satchel page to get into your collection? Like, does it just have to be the card? I mean, if the card is heavily creased, if the card has big chunks of paper loss, is it just you want to have the card in your collection, or is there like a minimum threshold, or do we get to a point with some cards and some price points that you're just like, the existence of it in my collection alone is enough?
Um, so no, and the reason I say no is when I made this list, it's cards I think that I may be able to acquire at some point someday. The cards that I would say I would take and that I would be willing to buy ripped up those are cards that I didn't put on the list because those are cards that are probably so expensive that I probably won't be able to, right? Like an M1015 Ruth, right? Or a Collins McCarthy Ruth. Like both of those would be a card I would love to have, and I would take them in any condition, but even in a terrible condition, they're like, six figures, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't put any cards like that on my list, but I would say that the page, if I were to pick this up, when I pick this up, I guess based on the title of this video, when I pick this up, I want to get it fairly well centered. It doesn't need to be 50-50, but like I'd like it to be 60-40 or better. And I don't really care so much about the corners. I'm good with very honest corners on this one. I mean, for me, I just don't want to have I mean, for me, it's going to be centering, but really it's more because of the grade, I'd be able to get it in and be pretty low. I don't want one that has like wrinkles or like, pieces of paper ripped off or anything, right? Like no paper loss, no wrinkles. That would be my two primary. And then if I could find like a nice, like 1.5 that might be a little bit better centered, I'd go with that. Like I don't need awesome registration on this card. Like I've seen some of them where like, that when they print, when they printed the different colors, some of them are kind of off and it almost looks a little bit 3D-ish.
Yeah.
If it had that, I would prefer not to have that, but like if it had something like that, I would, but it wasn't wrinkled and it had okay centering. Like I would do that. Like I wouldn't need this card to be pristine. Like I would just want it to have like good enough eye appeal where I don't have something specific that I focus on rather than the card itself.
Yeah.
Or if there's like a wrinkle right through the center of the card through his face, that's what I would look at when I look at the card, not the whole card itself. So as long as it doesn't have something like that, then yeah, the condition really is, I'm open to whatever.
But I mean, based on those qualifications, I mean, you're looking at $50,000, right?
Like this card in a 2 would probably be like in the 40s.
Yeah. All
So
right.
yeah, again, these aren't cards I'm going to buy anytime soon. I'm hoping someday to, you know, have my, I'd like to, my wife and I live below our means now. And then someday, when I'm old and I'm like, and my broker says, hey, you're 85, you have more money than you could spend in the next couple of years before you die. Then I'll say, sweet, I'm buying a Satchel Paige.
There you go. I like that. Except, I don't know, the thought of being 85 and having more money than I know what to do, it sounds impossible at the
Not to
moment.
know what I do with, just more than they'll spend. Because I mean, think about it. When you're 85, like other than healthcare stuff, you're not doing a ton, right? You're not like, hey, I'm going to
Oh,
go
geez.
travel all over the place, right? You're
Th-
chilling. You're
To
chilling.
all of you out there that are 85 or older, Darren's just teasing you. All
No,
right.
let me rephrase. I won't be in good enough shape when I'm 85 to do that. I'm sure there are people that are in great shape when they're 85, and I'm jealous of that.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. All right. Next, number 3. Why don't you go first?
Okay. 1915 Cracker Jack Cobb. I like the 14, but I'm not. It's way too much money. So 1915. I love the image. Cracker Jack is an iconic, like one of the most iconic sets. I actually don't own any Cracker Jacks, and like my take on how I collect right now, I could pick up a Cracker Jack of like a different player, but rather than spend the money on that, I'd rather spend that on a card of a player that I really want, and then someday pick up a Cracker Jack card. And since right now, Cobb is my guy, then I think this would be the one for me. Like the Joe Jackson's great. The Honus Wagner and the Christy Mathewson and the Walter Johnson. Those are all great cards. I love those cards. I would love to have any of those cards. But if I had to pick one that I would enjoy the most in my collection, it would be the Cobb.
Yeah, I mean, this set is, I mean, I think it's maybe the best set ever. I mean, it's for me, it's in the top 3 at least.
Mm-hmm.
I could, if I had to debate the greatest set of all time, and I was taking the Cracker Jack, I think I'd have a pretty strong argument.
Totally.
I
Like for me, I would say, if I had, it's hard for me to pick the very best, but like I'd have to say, T206, 33 Gaudi, 52 tops, Cracker Jack, right? The Leaf set,
Yeah.
the 48, 49 Leaf set. I think those to
Yeah.
me, like,
Those are the top 5.
yeah, I can make arguments why any of those would be the number one in any, I could rank those in any order and make arguments as to why.
You don't think it's 87 tops?
87 tops. I do
Sorry,
like, that's the wood
Dylan.
grain, right?
Yeah. I'm just
Oh yeah,
I'm just trolling Dylan right now.
no, that's a cool set, right? Like you could get some cool cards in that set, and I'm sure they look nice. And to me though, I know like the guys that collect modern are gonna say, dude, that card's old as hell. But like to me, 89 is modern, and that's not my thing.
Yeah. All right, for me, the Leaf Jackie Robinson. Um, it it is I'm kind of surprised that I have it at number 3, um, because I could make an argument that it should be number 1. I
Hmm.
think the reason I have it at number 3 is because my number 2 and my number 1 are much less attainable in anywhere in the near future. And I will certainly have this Jackie before I have my 1 or 2 because this one's much more affordable. Um, I
I'm
don't
looking
really,
forward to seeing your numbers 1 and 2 because this is a
yeah,
very expensive card.
it is a very expensive card, but you can get a 2 for 13,000. And that's not crazy. That's not crazy money. Don't get me wrong. That's a lot of money,
That's a lot
but
of money, but yeah,
it's
I
not
know where you're going with
crazy
that, right? Like
money.
you
Yeah.
could 13,000 something you could save up for, right? Like
Yeah.
versus if it was like 100,000, it's like by the time you save up for it, too many important things have happened that you had to pull out of it for, right?
Right. So the Jackie for the past like 2 years, you and I talked at one of our first off topics about setting up like a gold card account and setting up like a monthly card account and kind of putting money into the, and I did that and I've been doing that, and my gold card account has turned into my Strongsville card account and my national card account, and then I tend to empty those well, on those
Right.
trips. But the gold card that in my head, if I were to continue to pile, if I came home from a national with money, if I went a stretch where I had some extra funds that came in for whatever reason, like it's kind of the Jackie account. It's kind of the Leaf Jackie account, if I'm being honest. So this card is the card it's the card, um, but I'm certain that I'll own it. I will 100% own this card. My 1 and 2 is gonna be harder. It's gonna be a lot harder, but it's,
So real
this one
quick
I
on the
will own.
Jackie, what you're telling me is when I'm with you at Strongsville and the National to remind you to stop buying stuff because you're saving up for this.
I probably honestly, I probably need to make a 3rd account, and the 3rd account should be a specific card, like this card account that's not touchable. Like I go to the National, I go to Strongsville, and I take the savings account, but I don't take the Jackie account. Like
Mhm.
that's probably what I should do because otherwise, there's always going to be something. There's always going to be something that I'm going to see and go, well, I mean, yeah,
So I
I
think
will,
that's a great idea. And like you could put a little bit in every month. And then the other thing
yeah,
you could do too is when you get back from one of those big shows, every cent of your budget that you didn't spend, all of that goes into that account.
yeah, yeah, and that might be discussion for future episode, but
Yeah,
I have to find a way to get to this card. It
totally.
is it is my destiny card, and
Nice.
I have to find a way to get it. What's gonna probably happen though, if I'm being totally honest with you, is the right one is gonna show up when I don't have the money. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my wife and I'm gonna give her puppy dog eyes and say, honey, can I buy this and then I'll pay it back? And she'll go, that's fine. I trust you. That's what
There you
she
go.
always says. She always says, that's fine. I trust you.
That's
So
perfect. I
I
was like, I thought you were gonna
always
take my approach that I did at Strongsville, and like, well, I ran out of money, so I just borrowed it from Petty.
Did you borrow money? No, you borrowed it for like an hour.
Well, I did. Well, yeah, I was out of
Yeah.
cash, so he lent me cash, and I
Yeah,
went and got
that's
him.
different than borrowing money. My dad was my ATM for a minute, but I paid him back like an hour,
Right, that's what I
right
did at Petty.
after. It's
So, speaking of dads, I love this card. I don't have this card, but it's not on my list, and I know we talked about this probably, like, our first or second, not even, it was before Off Topic was a concept, right? It was our first or second collaboration. I mentioned that the reason I don't have this card on any of my lists is my dad actually has a really nice example of this card, and I think we talked about how, like, are there cards that our dads have that it's not really like, rather than us buying it, we, if we wanted to see it, we just go look at theirs, right?
yeah.
And that's kind of where I am with this, with the Jackie Robinson.
Yeah. All right, number 2, here we go. Okay.
Holy
So,
crap! The 52 Tops Manual is your number two. Okay,
my number
okay.
2. Yeah, it's my number 2. I mean, you're one to speak. You got a worldwide gum Joe DiMaggio. I mean, what is the total pop of that card? Like 80?
Not a lot, but like, you know, getting that in a two is cheaper than a mantle in a two,
I'm gonna
I
look up
think.
the total pop as you're talking about it. It is more affordable in a 2, but I don't I just have a feeling I don't know. Petty and Tony on one of their odd couple episodes, they were talking not that long ago about how you can never say never. Like you can't have a goal and say, well, that goal's not attainable.
No, 100% agree. Yeah,
That's not how we can live life.
right.
When I started my YouTube channel and it felt impossible that I would ever hit 1,000 subscribers, I
Mhm.
said, I didn't say I'm not even going to bother because I'll never hit 1,000 subscribers. Like, I didn't know a single person when I started my YouTube channel. I didn't know a single YouTuber, not one. I didn't have a friend. I had never emailed. I had never connected. I had never commented. I had never commented on another YouTube video when I started my YouTube channel. I had zero connections. And the thought of reaching 1,000 seemed impossible. But I didn't sit there and go, well, then I'm just not even going to bother because I'm not going to get to 1,000. So what's the point? I didn't think that way. I just said, how about this? How about I say, this is something I want to achieve. And I just put my head down and I just work for it.
Totally.
And that's the 52 tops mantle for me is very unrealistic. It's very unrealistic. But you know what? I also started my retirement account when I was 22 years old.
I
And I've been
wasn't shitting on your dreams.
No,
I
I
was
know. I
saying
know.
that
No, no,
if
no, no,
this is
no.
number two, I'm curious what
No.
number
I
one is.
know.
That's
I
all I meant
know.
by that.
I know. No, no, no. I don't think you're crapping on my idea at all. I hope I'm not coming across that way.
No,
What
no.
I'm speaking in defense of people out there who think, well, that won't happen. I'm speaking to the person who's listening to this who says that will never happen. I don't think anybody should ever say that. I
I
think
agree.
you keep your goals, you work hard at them. I've been piling money into my retirement account since I was 22. So for 23 years, I'm going to be working for another, good grief, 15 probably years. I'm going to continue to pile money in there. I paid off my house. That seemed insurmountable. Who knows what'll happen.
I
So
agree.
those of you out there going, I'll never own a 52 mantle, you need to knock that off. Like, the 52 mantle is the card that every card collector at one point was googly eyed for, and we can't say, I'll never have one. You
I
never know
agree.
what'll happen.
I agree. Somebody said, I can't remember who said it. Somebody said, you either, if you tell yourself you can, or you can't, you're right. Hopefully it
Yeah.
wasn't an asshole that said that, but like, somebody said that, and it's true, right? Like, if you tell yourself, yeah, I can never have that, then you won't have it, right? So I agree with you. I agree with you.
And
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 that's a,
your choice, which to me is about as perfect of an image as there can be on a baseball card. I mean,
I agree.
that image is un it when you see a picture, uh, any iconic National Geographic picture or Ansel Adams picture, you can stare at the picture and there's a whole story that you can bring in your head by looking at an image. I just got goosebumps even talking about it. But
Yeah,
you can literally tell a story from looking at an image. That's a special picture. And that picture right there, and it's only from his neck up, it tells an entire story.
totally. I mean, I love it, right? Young, he's probably what, 19 in that picture. He's got his hat's on a little crooked.
Yeah.
He's got like he's just, so excited as to, what's to come.
Yeah.
He just became a Yankee, and I think I'm pretty sure Joe D's the one that said, I thank God for making me a Yankee. So like that
Yeah.
was a big thing for him to become a Yankee. It's just it's such a great image. I love the fact that it's black and white. Like everything about this card is awesome. And I think, by the way, it's cool to see these two cards next to each other because you get a very, very young image of, in my opinion, the third and fourth best Yankees of all time, both as kids, basically. And I'm not going to say which one's third and which one's fourth all time. I will say that I think Gehrig and Ruth are better than both of them. Yeah, I think it's cool to see these two cards side by side.
Well, and the other part of the story that a card tells is, I mean, this is like the tail end of the Great Depression.
Yeah,
And that picture tells that story.
yeah,
It's like it's just been rough, but we got there. It's like
yeah,
what that says.
yeah.
It,
Like,
it,
yeah, it's basically if he didn't get picked up by the Yankees, he would be going back to California and worked as a fisherman for his dad.
yeah. And I mean, we're at the tail end of the Great Depression. We're at the start of World War II. It's like this tiny moment, in between all this chaos. I don't know. It's such a special picture.
Mm.
All right. And it's what year is it? That card is
36.
36. Yeah, 36. So I guess the Great Depression wasn't even quite over.
Right.
It was like I think the Great Depression, they would say it went a little couple more years after this. So I mean, everything's recycled and tired, and it's awesome picture.
Mm.
All right, number one, you ready for the drum roll? All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, all right.
Those are both pretty sweet cards.
Those are pretty sweet cards. So I went with the Cracker Jack. I mean, the 1914 ain't well. Again, I can't say that. I just said don't say that to anyone. I don't I don't need my Cracker Jack Joe Jackson to be a 1914.
Yeah,
I
me too.
think that there's a little bit extra of a story for the 1914.
Yeah.
The fact that it definitely came out of a box of Cracker Jack, but I I love the cards equally. And so it checks all the boxes for me. So in 1915, Cracker Jack Joe Jackson, you know, you and I are the same age. I think you're 6 months older than me. Um, we we grew up in this era where when we were little kids playing Little League is when 8 Men Out came out
Mhm.
and Field of Dreams came out.
Yep.
And there was this lore, this period of a couple, 2, 3 years when we were at the most impressionable age. It was the kids of baby boomers were growing up, and their baby boomer dads were coaching their little league teams when those two movies came out. And we grew up in this era of this lore of Shoeless Joe Jackson. And
Mhm.
every kid our age went through that same thing at the same time. So anybody out there who's from about 42 to 50 years old is in this stretch where they were a little kid and they were watching baseball movies, and it was all about Shoeless Joe at that moment. And we all grew up, eating Cracker Jack, and we all grew up, with the Black Sox scandal and all this stuff. And it's just the there aren't cards that are more beautiful than the Cracker Jack set. There's not a lore around anybody out there. This lore of Shoeless Joe is just like nothing else. And I mean, if I could only add one card for the rest of my collecting, it would be that card. That would be the card. And again, it doesn't seem realistic. It's very, very expensive. I just think there's gonna something there. I'm gonna find a way to get one. I
There
don't
you
know
go.
how yet. I might have to trade a lot of my collection, which I'm fine with. When I'm older, I might end up with 20 cards. But if that was one of the 20, then I've got a heck of a collection.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, and that's our friend Dave did that, right? He sold a
Yeah.
large collection and then consolidated into just a bunch of really iconic cards. That's one of
Yeah.
them.
Yep.
Yeah. I got
Yeah.
to
We
actually
got
hold
we
it. We were
got
having lunch and he slid it across the table, and I was worried that my Coke would spill on it.
and
But
his
yeah,
is
no,
like a 7, isn't it?
yeah, it's a 7. Yeah, it's an that card itself is an epic card. Like, no, regardless
Yeah.
of the grade, it's just such a great card.
Yeah. All right. We got
So,
3.5 minutes before our hour
oh
click on
yeah.
the
So
so you go for it.
my number one is the 1921 American Caramel Ruth. So the reason that I picked this specific card, I love the Collins McCarthy and I love the M101 4 and M105. To me, those are a little more of a reach. And even if I had the money to buy those someday, if I'm lucky enough to have the money to buy those someday, I would have to question if there's other things that are, I mean, that's a lot of money. Like, is it worth spending it on that, depending upon where I'm at? So, that being said, I went with this one, and I went with this one for a couple of reasons. One, it's a great image of, I mean, Babe Ruth is so young in that picture, right? He looks like a little kid. I love it. It's black and white, and I'm loving black and white cards. I think it's really cool that he's wearing a Boston uniform, but it says he's on the Yankees, right? So
Hmm.
I think that's probably my favorite part, right? He's wearing the Boston uniform, but it says New York Americans. Um, and he's a pitcher, right? And that's just really cool, right? I mean, Babe Ruth's known for all of his, every one basically when he played, having every single hitting record other than batting average. But um, that being said, like he was a pitcher first, and he was a great pitcher, and I think this is just a really really cool card, right? It's that it's that 1 year where he got the Red Sox made the biggest mistake they've ever made and traded Babe Ruth to the Yankees, which was awesome for us Yankees fans. And I think it's cool because that's just that's this card portrays that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's in one of my favorite sets of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an iconic. I mean, it's somewhat iconic, but it's it's a set that I find a lot of beauty in and a lot of mystique in,
Mm.
and I think that it being in that set is very cool. I've only got like maybe 2 or 3 cards from that set, but I love them.
Yeah, I
So,
think I have three. I've got a Walter Johnson. I've got a Rogers Hornsby, and then I've got one that I haven't shown yet. So I'm not going to give it away. I'll show that in a
oh,
video next month,
okay.
maybe.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
not
I've
this
got
one though.
yeah. Yeah, my Casey Stengel rookie is in that set. I have
Nice.
that. Um Anyways, all right. Well, this was fun. I think it was a fun idea from Mike to
Yep,
focus on cards for a minute and goals and setting goals and working towards them. So, I think this was a good one, buddy.
I agree. And
Yeah.
just, I know we mentioned at the beginning that there was, like I said, that I had a card that I pulled out, and it was kind of my runner up. If I had it in there, it'd be like fairly high up on the list. But even some of the ones lower on the list that I prefer, I think, to have. But was the 33 Gaddy Napoleon Lajoie.
That that's a great card. I
Yeah.
can't go wrong with that. I didn't have the Hank Aaron on the list, and I don't know what I would have taken off, but I can't imagine not having one of those. And I want a Jordan rookie. I want a Fleer Jordan. I don't know. Maybe that makes me a sheeple, but I
No,
want
no,
one.
you're good. I've got a Fleer Jordan rookie. I think no, it's not in that case. I put it away because it's gone up in price a lot. But I had it
Yeah.
sitting right next to my LeBron rookie and my Kobe rookie because I've got some modern stuff too.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Which is both of those are next to my Johnny Unitas rookie. So that's I got to keep it a little vintage in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool. All right. Well, that was fun, and I
That
think
was
we went off
fun.
topic for a second, which is
Couple of
cool.
times. Couple of times.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, we're
Yeah. So
just
I think
trying
I
to
agree with
do
you.
our
Let's
thing.
talk. Let's have a topic where you and I talk about um, budgeting for these types of cards as opposed to like cards that we're more used to getting. That'd be a fun conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. For
So
sure.
what do we want to have the code word? I mean, this one, because it was a countdown, I feel like most people would put this sucker on 4X and at least get to the end. So
Probably. Probably. I
so
mean, but they may not hear the code word. I think the code word has to be on topic. How's that?
on topic. There you go. I was gonna say
On
either
topic.
that's a good one or Cracker Jack.
Okay, one of the two is how
Well,
we'll
pick
know you
one.
made it to the
Two
end.
code
You pick
words.
one. Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
Thanks, buddy. This was great.
Yes, it was a great time, and I thought, yeah, I really enjoyed this. This was both. I appreciate Mike. Thanks for having us do this because this is a fun exercise, and Greg, it was great being able to kind of walk through with you.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
It was very great. All right, bud.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll catch you guys later.